Well, we all want a season 5 of Young Justice, and with a new season of Young Justice, you know what we always get? New team members. Recently, I reached out to you guys, the fans, and asked the question of who would you like to see join the team in Season 5? And honestly, there were some really consistent suggestions and answers to this question, and now we put them in a top 5. Let's take a couple minutes to run through the top 5 characters fans want to see join Young Justice in Season 5. Now, before you do that, make sure you check out our Stay Whelmed line of merchandise down below. We've got some pretty cool shirts and hats, and allow you and other Young Justice fans to showcase your love for the show, feel the Aster, and stay whelmed. So let's kick this off with number 5. Now, coming in at number 5 is Natasha Irons. Now, in case you didn't know, Natasha Irons is the daughter of John Henry Irons' brother, Clay, and his wife, Blondell. Now, she was introduced in the very first issue of Steel's solo series, where at the time she was actually 13 years old. Now, the character has had a couple of superhero monikers, including Starlight and Vaporlock, but most often in the comics she's portrayed as the new Steel. Now, what her relationship with her uncle on Earth-16 and how this goes about happening, well, that's sort of unclear, and as many of you know, Greg Weisman does not mind rewriting some of the history of these characters to fit it into this world. In any case, she would be a great addition to the team. Not really a name I had thought of before in the past, and her steel armor does have some pretty interesting traits. She does have the typical superhuman strength levels and can fly with her rocket boots, but in her case, the suit can also grow to about 60 foot tall, and she also has her very own electromagnetic hammer. Now, coming in at number 4 is Rachel Roth, aka Raven. Now, this is the first entry in this list that is a longtime Titan, and a character many people actually want to see on the team. For me, I believe Greg Weisman has kind of shied away from some Titan characters due to this team pretty much filling that role on Earth-16. Now, over several seasons, we've added other Titan members, including Beast Boy and Cyborg. So now that he's gradually added these characters in, well, I feel like there's definitely room for Raven. Now, her particular power set and her association with Trigon can be pretty complicated, and that could be one of the reasons the character hasn't been introduced. Now, we do know Dick Grayson has had a pretty big life outside of the team, so there really is no reason that Rachel Roth couldn't join the team in Season 5, assuming there's no behind-the-scenes complications. I do wonder about rights issues with shows like Teen Titans or Teen Titans Go, but those aren't things we're privy to, but she definitely would indeed be an excellent addition to the team in a potential Season 5. Now, coming in at number 3 is Kyle Rayner. Now, fans have been clamoring for a Green Lantern on this team for quite a long time, and last season when Razor showed up, well, it seemed like that was a tease that this time had come. Now, when we did the fan polling, there was quite a few Green Lantern characters that showed up, but the overwhelming number of fans seemed to want to see a young version of Kyle Rayner join the team. Now, he's been around the comics since 1994, and honestly, his personality would fit perfectly with the team. We already have John Stewart, Guy Gardner, and Hal Jordan on Earth-16, so them having a younger counterpart that is part of the covert operations team that is Young Justice would be absolutely perfect. He is a very powerful character, and this is one of those things with many of these new team members we're suggesting here, you have to watch out for. You don't want to make the team too lopsided, but we are closing in on that final battle with Darkseid, and they'll definitely need the firepower. Now, speaking of firepower, coming in at number 2 is another Titan, and that's Princess Coriander of Tamaran, Starfire. Now, she is also a member of the Teen Titans, and possibly one of the most requested characters fans want to join the team. Now, in the comics, she is typically in a relationship with Dick Grayson, and as we've seen, that's a commonplace on the show. She is a very powerful character that would definitely beef up the team for the showdown we were just talking about with Darkseid, and would add a brand new dynamic to the leadership, especially if she had an existing relationship with Dick Grayson, and maybe even butted heads with other team members, like any of the laundry list of other characters that Dick Grayson has dated on the team. Now, number 1 for me on this list was always the most obvious choice, and that's because of the Season 4 cliffhanger. That would be Supergirl. As many of you know, we left off Season 4 finally getting Supergirl, aka Kara Zor-El, revealed in the world of Young Justice. Just not how we were thinking. Now, as we saw, she had been indoctrinated into Granny Goodness's care, and was a full-on fury of Darkseid. What happened to Kara Zor-El in the Phantom Zone, nobody knows right now. but it's super clear she's completely under Darkseid's control, and teaming her up with Mary Blomfeld, who already was a member of the team, well, this is a 1-2 powerhouse that almost any of the core team members would have a tough time standing against. Fans have waited a really long time to get Supergirl in the world of Young Justice, and they didn't just plop her in there for nothing. I actually think Greg Weisman has huge plans for the character, and I think her relationship with Clark, along with Mary's relationship with Freddie Freeman and Billy Batson, will ultimately be what brings both characters back, and quite honestly, adding a Kryptonian to the team will definitely give them the edge they're going to need for the forces of Darkseid. Now, there are a lot of other characters that you might be thinking could have made this list, but remember, there have been a ton of members of the team that have already left. Make sure you check out our Lost Era of Young Justice videos. Should be popping up right about right now. It'll dive you deep into the history of the show and that big time jump between season 1 and season 2 that saw probably 5 or 6 huge DC names, and we never got to see them as part of the team. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this video, and what other top 5 list would you like to see for Young Justice.